We got some new parts for the Chevy. Well, they're old, but they're new. So anyway, I'll show you what we got going on real quick. We're going to do some suspension upgrades to the 71 C20. We're going to convert it from leaf spring rear suspension to coil spring with truck arms. And this is just the beginning. We got a lot more on that part to come, but let me show you what we picked up today. Went on a parts run. So here we go. So what we picked up today is a cross member for the rear part of the frame that has the shock mounts. So need those for right now. So that's going to go in. And then what else we got is the truck arms. Now, lots of C10s came with truck arms or trailing arms. And so did C20s, but my truck is a factory rear leaf spring. Now, the main difference between the C20 truck arm and the C10 truck arm is this strap. So the C20s have this on both sides. Let me see if I can flip one of these over one-handed and show you. There you go. So here's the top side that would be facing the underneath of the bed of the truck, and here's the bottom side that would be facing the ground. As you can see, we have this additional support that's riveted on here. So, and that's because the C20s came with bigger rear ends and they were set up for towing and hauling at the time more so than the C10. Anyway, so we got those today. These are original used parts, obviously. So the next stop is we're going to take a torch and we're going to heat up this nut or bolt here and get this all this stuff, the bushing and stuff, out on both of these. These little tabs are the original, what's left of the part where it mounts to the cross member under the cab. So that part will go in the trash. We'll get some new bolts and some new bushings and put those in. But before we put anything new in these are going to get sandblasted and powder coated. And this one still has it, but this is where your bottom plate for your cup for your coil spring goes. And then your U-bolts go through here and your axle sits in there. Now, all this is going to get cleaned up, powder coated, and it'll eventually get put in the truck. I am going to pull the bed off because I got a bunch of other things I need to do while the bed's off, and I want to get as much done as possible and then only have to take the bed off once and put it back on once. Fingers crossed that's how it goes, but I'm sure it's not the case. So what we are planning on doing is building a Pro Touring style 3/4 ton. I'm not converting it to a 1/2 ton. I'm still going to run the Dana 60 in the rear, 8 lugs all the way around. And we're going to piece together a kit. There's a lot of aftermarket high-end companies that build pieces and parts but don't offer complete kit. So if you take the time and thumb through their catalog, whether it be online or a paper catalog, whatever, do your research, do your homework, and you can absolutely piece together a kit from the manufacturer or ERS that you would like or you think is going to work. But definitely do your research, do your homework, and piece it together. So prime example, Willwood. I would love to use Willwood's disc brake setup. Willwood makes D52 calipers, which are on the front, and they were a very common caliper that GM used on light trucks and their cars in the 70s, late 60s, early 70s. Willwood makes one. They also make a version of the D52, and I can't remember the part number off the top of my head, but it is a caliper with a parking brake. Well, we are going to get that caliper, 2 of those, because we're going to do a rear disc conversion. I'm not sponsored by any of these folks whatsoever, but if the information helps you out and you want to do something off the beaten path with a 3/4 ton, or even a 1 ton possibly, you can absolutely do it. And I hope this information helps. There's a number of companies. Performance Online offers a rear disc brake conversion kit for the C20, and so does Lugnut 4x4. I've not purchased one from either one of those outfits yet, but I'm going to do my due diligence in doing my research. But what I am going to do is use the Willwood disc master cylinder and proportioning valve. And I'm also going to use the Willwood calipers. Now, the back end, because on a Dana 60 you have a full float rear end and it's a big bore axle. So you use K25, I think, front rotors on the back because they have the big center bore. Obviously the K series is 4-wheel drive. If you didn't know that, K for General Motors denotes 4x4, C is 2x4. Regardless, those are the rotors you can use. You're going to need caliper mounts that'll mount to your axle, and you're going to need calipers and rotors and brake lines, etc. So you can use a D52 on the back, which is a front caliper. You just won't have a parking brake setup. And you can cobble together a parking brake situation however you like. Just make sure your hot rod doesn't roll away on you when you're parked. There's ways to build a clamp, a driveline clamp that works off your parking brake lever, and it clamps down on the drive shaft and so on. But I'm just going to spend the money and get the rear calipers with the parking brake apparatus. I don't want to cobble something together, and spending a little more now is going to save me a fortune later. So that's another thing. Do what you can afford. And there's some suspension systems that I would like to purchase, but I don't have the funds. It's not in the budget this year for them. So I really would like to use QA1 suspensions, rear trailing arm, adjustable coilover suspension for the back, but it's not in the budget. Now, the other thing too is whether you have a GM 10 or 12 bolt or you have a Dana 60, the axle tubes are 3-inch diameter. And so a lot of these places will tell you that their kit is only for a 1/2-ton truck. And the reason for that being is, at least in my mind, I don't have any information to back this up, but this is my thought, is because of weight rating and towing capacity. If you are not going to tow anything and you're not going to haul anything heavy, there's no reason why those suspensions should not work, even though it's for a C10. Now, I could be wrong. Absolutely, let me know if I am wrong, but I don't think that I am. Regardless, I am never going to tow anything with this truck. I am never going to haul anything with this truck other than ass. So with that being said, I'm going to do a 3/4 ton Pro Touring style truck. I'm going to piece it together. I'm going to find out what absolutely works and what absolutely doesn't work and what is questionable. All before I actually put it on the road. I'm going to test it in a closed area. So just drive, I'm not a race car driver. I just like the way those vehicles handle and the stance that they have. And so that's what I want. So I'm building this. I'm building it myself. I'm not sponsored, but I am accepting sponsors if you would want to do that. If not, it's all good. It's going to get done in any case. So this is what we got going on for the 71 C20, dubbed the Midnight Mistress. That is a name that came about because I wanted to call it the Midnight Custom, or sorry, Midnight Customs is the channel, the Midnight Express, and the reason behind that name is because I work a rotating non-existent schedule, and a lot of times I got to do stuff in the middle of the night just to get it done, because that's when I got time. Anyway, the mistress part came in because the missus always says when she can't find me, I'm with my mistress, which is a 71 Chevrolet C20. So I feel it's fitting. It's legit. This truck's going to be badass. But so anyway, here we are. This is what we got. This is all going to get cleaned up, like I said, powder coated, made to look real pretty. And we're going to get new hardware, bushings, etc., and all that good stuff. So, but if you are wanting to do a 3/4 ton, whether it's 67 through 72 or 73 through 88, whatever, if you look at the parts, a lot of the parts have the same number for different years. General Motors was pretty good about using parts they already had that worked. So I found that out myself. I have looked for 67 through 72 C20 parts and C10 parts, and then I looked for 73 and newer. Once you get in the 90s, it changes. I think after 88, a lot of stuff has changed, but mid 70s square body suspension stuff and brakes, etc., those will all work on 67 through 72. So if you would like to do a 3/4 ton truck and not convert it to a 1/2 ton, there's some advice. Just cross-reference the part numbers, and you're going to find that a lot of the stuff is the same or it's interchangeable. And you can, if you're good at fabricating or cobbling things together, you can figure it out. Or if you're like me and you're starting out and teaching yourself how to do this and whatnot, you're going to learn a lot. I'm looking forward to this, and at the end of the day, it's only time and money, and very rarely do we have both. So do what you can when you can, but most importantly, have fun. Have fun, enjoy it, and just have a good time. Get your girlfriend or your wife, your kids involved. So grab some buddies, case of beer, have a barbecue. But the name of the game is having fun. And at the end of it, when it's all done, they're never completely done. You're going to be proud of what you did. So thank you for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.